guys, Martin here bringing you a Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be taking a look at the Super EZA for STR Omega Shenron. This is an interesting one because this is obviously a buff that as soon as Omega was even teased, like, we just knew that this guy was going to get a Super EZA. He's one of the oldest units that would be in line to get one that didn't have one yet. Fits the theme, obviously, like when else would they do it if not now? So something that we all very much expected and I think had high hopes for. However, of course, there is the issue that became apparent as soon as it seemed clear that the Omega was indeed going to be a standalone Omega and not a transforming Sin that released for the Global Dokkan campaign. There is, of course, the problem that this guy has the same name as the new unit and the new leader for the team. Now, that isn't necessarily the end of the world when it comes to his overall performance, because you probably will just be using him as a third slot floating support unit on this Omega team. But obviously, for the sake of the showcase, we're going to be keeping him on rotation, which is a little bit more awkward when it comes to exactly how well he's going to perform, right? So if we go ahead and take a look at what he does, obviously Super EZAs do not change leader skill or super attacks. So that's kind of a big thing for these older units, right? Because back in the day when this guy first came out, even when he got his EZA, super attack effects weren't as common. So he does immense damage to the enemy and massively lowers defense. So he doesn't raise attack or defense on super at all. So all the heavy lifting for him to be good has to be done with his revamped passive. So he's got attack and defense 150, all enemies attack minus 40%, plus an additional defense minus 20% for superclass enemies. Full power or GT bosses allies 2 key and 40% attack, plus an additional attack 20% for characters who are also extreme. Unfortunately, that would have been really cool if it was the other way around, because obviously he's buffing full power and GT bosses only, and if they are extreme GT bosses or full power, they're getting 60% attack, which is obviously very, very good. Per extreme class ally attacking in the same turn, self-excluded, chance to crit and damage reduction 20%, attack and defense 100% when attacking. So that means he's got 40% crit chance and damage reduction, 200% attack and defense when attacking if you're running a full extreme setup, which you pretty much are with the Omega team, right? When there's another full power or GT boss ally in the same turn, he gets attack and defense 150 and an additional attack that has a great chance to become a super. When attacking with 12 or more key, he gets another 100% attack and defense. And then as the third attacker in the turn, or when the target enemy is in the following status, attack down or defense down, 150% attack and launches an additional super. So this is the big thing when it comes to him, and I guess we will put him in slot 3 at some point so we can see for the video, is he's getting an additional super and another 150% attack. So whilst the super is obviously not raising defense, that would be very useful for him to have like defense raised on super, considering he has these built-in like ways to get additional attacks. Obviously if you're using him as a floating support, he's going to be doing that and getting the extra attack in slot 3 like fairly regularly, right? So we share every single link with Tech Sin, which is pretty good. I mean, I don't really want to put him in slot 1. Tech Sin on turn 1 has like 80% damage reduction, so he's probably fine. So let's do that. Now obviously we're missing out on 150% attack and getting a guaranteed additional super, but that's not raising our stats or anything at all. We're going to be getting 100 and it's just 100% when attacking, because all his other buffs should be active, because we have a GT boss ally in the same turn. We've got our extreme units on rotation. So he's starting off at 600k defense, so then he goes up to what, 1.2 million, and he has 40% damage reduction. He's technically got 50 because obviously the Omega from the first turn. I had a single Omega on the first turn. The other one does appear to be in slot 7. So we've only got one of the Omega buffs active, but we do have the domain active as well. So Omega seems like another one of these units for this team that is just going to be doing loads of damage. But defense-wise, obviously once both the Omega leaders are active with their passives, right, having the Rainbow Orb to give support for 2 turns, that means this guy's going to have 60% damage reduction. But it does seem like his post-super defense isn't going to be that great. In fact, his post-super defense, actually, I think, now that we've done all the showcases, I think his post-super defense is the lowest out of all of the new, like, Shadow Dragon units. But yeah, 54 million attack stat is pretty wild for a unit that's providing like 60% attack support to Omega, which is going to be certainly very interesting. It's a shame, like I said, that it has to be full power or GT bosses extreme. If it was just extreme, then obviously that would be really helpful. See, I need to float you off, I think, first. Yeah, double Sin's not ideal for this. Although Omega we will be able to see against the STR Vegito Blue. Obviously we'll get to see the benefit of his attack lowering. Passive attack lowering is very, very strong. Like, stronger than attack lowering on super attack effects. So Omega having that ability in events where you can lower attack. There's a lot of units on this Omega team now that either lower attack or benefit from the enemy being attack lowered. So this team's definitely going to be a lot of fun. I said in the Shadow Dragons video, now that this is going to be the last one for this team. Well, I guess we still have the baby one to do, but obviously that's difficult because he's banned from most of the events we would want to take the proper full team into. But once we've done this showcase, this is when I'm then going to start going with the what my favourite possible build is going to be for this Omega team and just clearing through a bunch of the content. So now we're in a bit of an interesting spot because this is a really bad rotation without having another Omega around already. So we've got 717k defense. We've got 60% damage reduction. The problem is, like, there isn't really anyone on this rotation that is going to be able to tank a super here from Vegito, like, well. Obviously, we're getting the attack debuff from STR Omega. But yeah, if he supers immediately, that's going to be bad. So, of course, he is going to. How much do we take from this? We've got 60% damage reduction, but... yes, 700k. Okay. 70 million attack with the support from the Shadow Dragons. And bear in mind, we don't have the domain active now either. So this would be even higher with the domain active. 70 million. And then we got the triple... so he just did 370 million attack stat supers. And then we got the hidden potential, but it was only a normal, unfortunately. That could have been another one. That would have been 280 million damage in the turn. And then Sin is going to lower attack with his attack. Unfortunately, this guy can super twice. So, unfortunately, I think anyone else on the rotation, if we eat another super, that's going to be really bad. But the Shadow Dragon's obviously going to get their buff as well. I mean, Sin does have decent damage reduction. And we've just attack lowered him again. But I don't know if that's going to be enough. Oh no, it is. Okay. And then the Shadow Dragons, obviously they're getting the buff because he's attack lowered 47 million. And then they lower attack as well. Yeah, so like events where you can lower attack, these guys are going to be going absolutely crazy, which is very cool. Let's get the Omega buff out here. Do this for you. Grab these for you. Get a little bit of HP back here, and then we'll be able to get the domain active again on the next turn with the friend Sin. That's the problem of having an Omega, a friend Omega. Having Omega on turn 1 and then the other one in slot 7. And I didn't realise, otherwise I should have floated off the turn 1 Omega. So we could just have them back on turn 4 and have that like continuous domain being active, like synergy. Omega should eat this, right, with all the attack lowering that we've done so far. Yeah, double digit damage, okay. Good stuff. And then Rose will finish him off here. Yeah, it's cool that, like, from the start of the celebration to now, how this team has changed. Exactly as I said when he dropped, that he was kind of waiting Omega for all the EZAs and everything to really round out his team. But yeah, this is where we're going to see, I guess, like, this could be, it's going to end up being, this is a shorter showcase, I guess, because, like, realistically, if we want to see his full potential, like, I should really put him in slot 3 now, and this is where we're going to see, like, the best performance from him. We'll put this up. I mean, we don't have support active on this turn for, like, attack or anything, but, like, obviously this is going to be his role on this team, is that he's here to be the floating support. So with both Omega's Rainbow Orb passive active, all links, he's at 650k. But that's the problem, is he's only then getting 100% on super, which is unfortunately just really not a lot. Like, putting him only up to like 1.3 million defense. 60% damage reduction is good, but it's not going to do a lot for him, unfortunately, when it comes to the bigger boss, like super attacks, right? So I think he's definitely very good in terms of how much damage output he's going to give to the team, especially because he's providing, like on this turn specifically, he's giving the Omega and the Sin 60% extra attack on a team full of units that can already hit like absolute trucks. The downside, I guess, for the team build that I like to use is obviously he's not giving any support to the Rosé. That's one of the things I did like about the Shadow Dragons, is at least they give that 17% to the non-GT bosses characters. But like, he seems like he could be pretty good. It's just unfortunately he's going to fit into the category of units that will get clapped by like a stray slot 3 super, right? Like if you are using him as the floating slot 3 support. And of course Tech Sin taking a type disadvantage super here from Trunks is not good. Typical, just before we finally get to see the slot 3 performance from Omega. I mean, I guess I can jump back in and just get it on an earlier turn now. Okay, so we jump back in and we have Omega in slot 3 on turn 2. The only problem is, I don't think that like Goku is going to survive long enough for us to get to see STR Omega attack, because considering we've got the support from the Shadow Dragons and the STR Omega and the domain, so like the amount of damage that physical Omega alone is probably going to do here in slot 1 is probably, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he just kills this Goku. 76 million. Is that good for this Omega's like first turn, do you think? Because this is where the strength of like STR Omega is it's giving the support to the other units, right? Like, he's there to be a third slot floating support, so he's going to come in on this rotation next time around. So I guess we'll do this, do this. I mean, we might as well, I could just cut here again, but we might as well just keep going until we get back to STR Omega being on rotation. But yeah, I mean, he seems very, very strong in terms of he's putting out good damage. He's giving a lot of attack support to the rest of the team. But I think, given what we saw from the Int Shadow Dragons, and like, they have higher raw defense than him post-attacking, and they have more damage reduction than him. So Omega just seems weaker overall than the Shadow Dragons, which make them a better option for this team, because they're not in the spot where they're sharing the same name with the leader. So he is very much just going to be here to be a floating slot 3 support. But I mean, it is crazy to think like just how easily and how quickly this team is going to be able to tear through like these events, right? Because we'll grab those for you. I mean, even like Vegito Blue, like, I know this stage isn't the hardest or anything, but like, absolutely destroyed Goku and Vegeta there. Then of course we're gonna, Rosé and Omega can lower on their additionals. The Shadow Dragons attack lower as well. Then we're gonna have STR Omega on rotation with his passive attack lowering. Like, it's gonna absolutely crush this. 51 million for Rosé here. That's with him getting that little bit of a buff, the 17% attack and defense from the Shadow Dragons. So yeah, boy, looking pretty good here. Additional for the attack lower. Then Omega obviously going to get the action break as well, which is really helpful. 84. That's with basically all of his links active because of the Shadow Dragons, and then obviously got legendary power. Oh no, he gets that from the Shadow Dragons as well, and the support from them and the domain. This is the Rainbow Friend though, but geez, 53 million additionals. Like, damn. When it comes to damage output, this team is just actually ridiculous. Oh boy. And then the Shadow Dragons at 64 million. Bruh. Because obviously Rosé gives all allies 60% extra attack, like Goku does with the defense when he attacks in slot 1. So that is just insane. Well, okay. Oh my god, this is this exact same rotation again. I swear, if he super attacks Sin in the middle again. And we didn't get all the possible orbs that we got with Sin, and to be fair, he did only just die to the super, so now that we have the actual 9 orbs, I think we should be okay. But let's see. Obviously, good rotation for Omega. Best case scenario for us to actually get to see STR Omega attacking in slot 3 is the super attacked physical Omega. So now we should just be all good, and we can end off the showcase here by seeing exactly what this guy's going to do in slot 3. Because, I mean, that's the thing. If he's there to be a support unit, like if we were just playing this event to win, it doesn't matter that on the previous turns he didn't get to attack, because he doesn't have anything to build up that he needs to have gotten by the time we get to the end. He's just there to make all the other characters hit harder. So he's doing his job, if that means that when he's on the rotation, he doesn't even get to attack, because the other enemies are just wiping the floor with the boss because they're hitting so hard, which is essentially what he's there to help them to do, right? So Omega seems like a very good piece for the team in terms of this overall crazy output. Yeah, 70 million with no extra support or anything in slot 3. And then, of course, he gets a guaranteed additional super as well as the chance from his passive. So, yeah, pretty good. Just dropping out 70 million attack stats here. Pretty good for STR Omega. In fact, we might even... Can we just win before we actually even get to the physical Sword of Hope Trunks? Because what does the active skill do for you? It's only 15%. It will buff the AGL Rose. But if I do this and get the active skill with Zamasu to get the much bigger buff for STR Rose, because we're getting buffed by the domain as well, obviously. I kind of do want to just put him there, but I do love just seeing Rose go off, even though Zamasu like can end up hitting harder. I don't really find myself, unless I'm starting the turn on low health and I want to take advantage of getting that big heal from the active skill, I don't really find myself like switching to Zamasu that much, just because Rose is so good. Yeah, 42 million from the friend Omega. Bit different from like the 80 million when he's got the Shadow Dragon Saga links and the all that support. But yeah, I mean, he's very, very good. 70 million. Bear in mind, my Rose has 1 dupe. 70 million attack stat on this turn. There's the crit, and then the additional's at 48.3. Like, bruh. Nice, and then we get 52, because mine now has the dupe, so we get the extra. He's got some additional in his inner potential. And then he just straight up dodges the super as well. I mean, what more can we ask? But yeah, we won't get another turn of STR Omega, because unfortunately we had to float him. So even though we will get one more turn against Trunks here, obviously Omega is not going to be there. And that is the big problem with, unfortunately, when it comes to trying to showcase units that want to go in slot 3, is you don't get to have them on rotation very much if they are floating in slot 3. But yeah, we're just absolutely demolishing this guy. Now, I mean, we'll see what happens here, because like 55% friend of my Omega only being at 55%, that is obviously, he's at a bit of a liability for getting immediately super attacked. But obviously we're in just a very good spot here overall. The Shadow Dragon's active skill doesn't even really do anything here, because like Trunks can't be debuffed and the extra key wasn't really important, but we'll go for it here anyway. Okay, so he's going to super straight away. This will be a good test for the 55% Omega, because this super does like 7.3 million. So 285k, is that it? Okay. Well, that's pretty good. Because yeah, that's a 7.3 million damage super attack, and my 55% Omega just tanks it in slot 1 for 250k. Yeah, I would say that that was pretty good. I would say that this team is pretty good. The Sin, very good partner for Omega. The Shadow Dragons would normally end up just being a floating support. This team is super good, and I just love the fact you can put Rose on there. So it's just like all these Shadow Dragon EZAs and Super EZAs, and then STR Rose, AGL Rose, and the team just works so well. Yeah, very much enjoying this Omega team. Like, there are some situations where a unit can get caught, by the big supers, but man, what a good team this is. So STR Omega, like I say, I think overall, out of all the pieces of this Omega team that we've now gotten with these EZAs, he might be the weakest defensively. But I mean, putting him in slot 3 to give all that support, and then he just casually drops like triple 70 million attack stats is pretty good. And then we beat the stage like 5 minutes faster than we have with other teams. So there you go. Let me know what you guys think of STR Omega down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.